Hi, everybody. This is Sylvia Daniels here, author of Love Conversations, Christian Perspectives about Love and Relationships. And I want to come on because I've been thinking about a few things. One, today I was on Facebook and I saw this amazing post by a couple that are pastors of a very nice church in the city of Detroit. And what I love about this couple is their passion for God, their passion for God's people, and honestly, their absolute love for one another. They are affectionate publicly, but not in an appropriate way. But they talk affectionately about each other and are very thankful to God for one another in front of people. And one of the things that the pastor does after he's prayed for the people is he asks everybody to pray for them and for his wife. And in prayer, he's thankful to God for his wife. Now, why is that important? Or why is that so impressive to me? I'm going to tell you, I don't know about you, but when I'm out on social media, getting ready for my post or sending things out or just seeing what everybody's up to, typically when people talk about marriage, they talk about, husband and wife relationships. It's typically, a complaint. 99% of the time it's a complaint. They talk about how their wife's not doing this or their husband's not doing that. And you know what typically follows that? You guessed it. Scriptures that I say come out like swords to whop them over the head and tell them how they're wrong and how God doesn't like that. And to be very honest, it's very discouraging. And I have conversations with young people. In fact, I had one today with a millennial about what I saw. And she said to me, that is why many young people, many millennials are deciding not to get married because they're like, yeah, no, I'm scared. And so I'm saying that to say this. I think that we need to, one, be careful about how we talk about what we say God has instituted, which is marriage, how he's pleased with marriage. We need to make sure that we're talking about the good things about marriage and relationships and the blessing that God has put in that institution. And no, not institution in the sense of locking someone up, but the institution in the sense of this great thing that God has put together that includes the man, the woman, and God in that union. And then two, I don't know about you, but I refuse to have a marriage that is just religious minded. And what I mean by that is when I hear these or see these posts or these rants on social media, typically it's because somebody's trying to make somebody else do something and they want to do so in a way that brings them under, what's the word I'm looking for? Bondage. Yeah, under bondage. So the conversation about, the husband being the head of the household. Now, I know and agree that there is leadership in marriages, that God has put that in place. But what I really would love to hear men and women talk about is how each of those positions provide a place of safety for the other person. In other words, it's not about me lording anything over you, but it's about me being in position to love you the way that God has for me to. So husbands being the head of their households because they are protecting their households and they are leading their households and they themselves are being led by God. And I don't mean that in a, God told me to, hit you over the head verbally or otherwise. But I hear from God for my wife, who is God's daughter, because you're joint heirs in Christ Jesus. And then the conversation about submission, not a position of slavery, but a position of covering, so that she has the covering from her husband, knowing that he's got her back and that he's praying for her and that his heart desires to lead them the way that God has designed for them to go as a unit, and in all of that to please God. So, just the narrative, the things that we say about marriage is really discouraging people. Even in conversation, I am, I'm engaged. And he's so amazing. Love you, babe. But the conversations I hear about marriage is, you're gonna have this problem and that problem and this problem and that problem. And to be very honest, I know that there are difficulties that come with marriage. I get that. I know the enemy does not like marriage. But wow, it sure be nice to talk about what's going to go great in marriages, how it's going to work, the blessings we'll experience in marriage, the promises we'll see, the impact on our generations. It would be so nice to hear that. But baby, let me tell you, that's not what we're hearing. That's not what I'm hearing. And so again, if I didn't have faith and believe God, man, I'd be scared too. So, and in some cases I am because of what I hear. But again, I refuse to have marriage based upon religious mindsets. I choose to believe God, and I choose to believe that God is going to make something wonderful in our marriage and be a great example of love and grace and mercy and passion and all of those wonderful things. And speaking of passion, ladies and gentlemen, again, back to that first point about showing affection, not inappropriately, but appropriately. Really, to be very honest, I think as Christians, we also walk away from just showing that kind of love for one another and affection for one another. It's like after we finish dating each other, kind of dries up like a Sahara desert. And I don't see why that is the case. There's so many examples of pursuit, both in dating and in marriage in the Bible. And I think that we need to get back to that because we are the answer to, those desires in our spouses. And that promise shouldn't dry up the second you say I do or a few months down the road. And when that emotional passion isn't there, I think that's the time to stir up the gift, and do something special to show that love and passion for your spouse. So anyway, I just wanted to come on Facebook, social media in general, and just share my thoughts today and encourage you to change the narrative about marriage, change the narrative about Christian marriages, and hey, be an example that people want to follow and not be afraid of. Anyway, love you guys. Thanks for watching my video. Talk with you soon. Bye.